Hi, I'm Liz Whedon, the General Manager here at Glengarry's. I'm going to talk to you today about Palacios Remondo. We've been importing Spanish wine for a number of years, but over the last few years our range has expanded. And to expand our range, I've had a huge amount of fun visiting suppliers and traipsing around Spain to find the very best to offer you. Palacios Remondo is one of my many favourites. They're based in Rioja. So Rioja is just north of Madrid and probably one of the most well-known regions in Spain. The winery itself is situated in El Faro and is run by Alvaro Palacio. The property in Rioja is actually their family property, and Alvaro returned here, somewhat recently to take over running it. And since he returned, the quality has just improved no end. Alvaro Palacio is one of the most talented winemakers in Spain. In fact, the press absolutely adore him, and when you taste his wines, you'll understand why. Within the range from Palacios Remondo, we have two wines that are the mainstay of the range, and these are La Vendimia and La Montesa. So Vendimia essentially means vintage, and this is their entry-level wine. It's a wine made to be drunk the year after the vintage. La Montesa is a single vineyard wine coming from the vineyard La Montesa and made from predominantly Grenache, and that's the wine that I'm going to taste today. So La Montesa is, as I said, a single vineyard site, and down in this part of Rioja it's actually quite wide and flat. The soils themselves, when you go there and see them, very, very dark red soils, and they retain the heat overnight, which allows the Grenache to get lovely and ripe. The vines themselves are not grown too far off the soil to also retain the heat overnight and ripen Grenache. So Grenache likes a fair amount of heat to get nice and ripe. So this is the 2009 La Montesa, and fantastic vintage in Europe, really quite warm vintage, but did produce wines with lovely balance. So lovely cork there. So have a little look at this wine. It's a lovely dark colour. Very, very spicy, fragrant nose. It's aged in oak, so there's a little bit of oaky characteristics on the nose. On the palate, all of that juicy sweet fruits there, lovely spice, but it's got a lovely integrated tannic backbone and a length that just goes on and on. Great structure, excellent by itself or fantastic with food. Traditionally on Spanish wines, you would find the terms Crianza, Reserva or Gran Reserva. Now these refer to the aging, so the amount of aging in cask and the amount of aging in bottle before release. Rather than putting those on the front of the wines, although legally they have to have them on the back of the wines, Alvaro prefers to actually put the vineyard name and to make a consistent style of wine year in, year out, making the best that he can make from the fruit in that vintage and not restricted by Spanish law. So those who are perhaps familiar with Spanish wines of the past and looking for those terms on the label, that's why you won't find them on the labels of these wines. Speaking of where you will find these wines, you'll find them in all Glengarry stores, on our website, where we deliver nationwide, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel.